Okay, so for Celestials episode 7, I would probably call it like Cheese District or something. And essentially, the episode would start off with another teaser of Molek, so the main villain for season 1, and we would see him basically make contact with the villain force for the first time, or maybe for the second time, with a magic mirror. So he would call onto them to gain reinforcement and help because he wants to get to Earth. And then we would see him traverse through the magic mirror to get to Earth for the first time, probably. But he would go back and forth to run some errands because he needs to make sure his plans go well. And essentially, Lucas. So you remember the leader of the Hero Force, the one who made it with the light powers. Um, he looks at his mirror in the morning and notices it starts like shining, and that's essentially when like a mirror becomes like a portal to sort of like the mirror dimension. So think about like I don't know if you know this game, Kirby and Magic Mirror. It's or the Amazing Mirror. It's kind of like that where you can portal through mirrors from one to another. And so essentially, Lucas goes through the mirror and notices he comes into like this strange land of like mirrors and all sorts of like floating grass roads, kind of like a Skylanders level of sorts. It looks kind of strange. And he would essentially see like Molek's giant devil tail like going passing through a portal mirror, and just before he like he has like a second to see it, but then he's gone, and he tries to go through the mirror, but it doesn't work, and he also can't really like find the correct mirror. Um, or maybe he goes through it and he just comes out somewhere completely else. And so he goes back home and then he basically explains everything to the rest of the crew. And we see them starting to really like, because in the previous episode he heard that a big danger was coming. Um, so now they're trying to investigate the situation. They're trying to find Molek and who he is and how they can stop him. But they don't really know who he is yet. All they saw was a devil tail. And so Lucas informs them of this, and they basically start brainstorming. This sit down on the table on the big investigation table with like a bunch of the other smart people at Celestials. There's essentially like this other hero that I haven't shown yet. He's kind of like this. Kind of like Inferno, he's like almost 2000 years old, and he's like this sort of super smart, like intergalactic being, but he's kind of like still human. It's kind of hard to explain, but essentially he's the smart one of the group for investigations, and they would sit down with like multiple other people to investigate it, and essentially would try come up with how they could find stuff on this guy because that's all they saw, just a tail going through a mirror. That's all they have, and we would see them investigate further in the other episodes as well. But for now, they would start training harder. So they have the training technology robots, so like the slime bots that can it's essentially change into anything to train against with like AI and stuff. And they would start training against like hordes of like training bots that kind of behave like how a stereotypical demon would, but like a physical demon, so probably with like weapons and maybe some like fire powers. And we just see them kind of prepare, and they're kind of arguing about the situation. Um, and I'm not really sure actually for this episode how I could make it like super interesting because I don't think it could be that long based off those things. So maybe there could be something else happening in the meantime. Let me know if you have some ideas. And then I feel like for the end of the episode, you'd maybe see some background of the main cast. But again, I'm not sure what that would be. But for the end of the episode, I do know what it would be. So essentially, we would see. Oh wait, I need to sneeze. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, for the end of the episode, we would see Inferno essentially going to take a bath with his two children. So most of the people in the main cast already have like one or two children because they're like around the age of 26 or 27. And in Celestials, people start having kids a bit more early. And so he goes in the bath with his kids, but Inferno needs to wear like a special diver suit so he doesn't get hurt by the water because Inferno is made of fire. If you remember, he's like a possessed Fire Knight. That's a new word I came up with for him that I liked to describe him, like a Fire Knight. And so essentially like his kids, because they're literally like 4 and 5 years old probably, maybe they would have seen this before, but they would probably ask him like like kind of like son to dad. They would probably be like, daddy, why do you have to wear like the suit and stuff? And it'd be kind of like in a bit of an emotional moment, because he would like explain how he like was a human, and he would be like talking to his kids. He'd explain why he was like a human and he died and he came back as like a fire ghost. And then his wife Melissa would probably like get out a physical picture of what he used to look like back as a human, because he had pictures of that. And then he would show that to his kids, and he would be like that's still me, but now I'm like this ghost in the suit. And he would explain how he has to wear like the suit to not get hurt. I feel like he would also probably at some point, maybe not that episode, so I'll remember this for later, but maybe still this episode, he would probably show his fire powers to his kids, in the sense that he would show them that actual fire is like dangerous and hurts. So maybe he would like let them touch a match like for like a brief second to make them feel like the pain, but then he would show how his fire is like controlled, like for example fire coming out of his elbows. He could show that they could literally like touch it and it wouldn't hurt as long as he doesn't want it to, because Inferno has insane control over fire, like I said, because he's like an element master. He can do a lot of stuff with it, and so he could make his kids literally like touch the fire on his shoulders or like fire in his hands, and it wouldn't hurt. So it showed them like the dangers of it, and be like, if I like use it, it's not like dangerous. You can touch it, but like actual fire in real life is like really painful and stuff. And again, I feel like it'd be kind of like an emotional moment, because this kind of lays heavy on him, and having to explain that to your children obviously could be hard. So I feel like that'd be a nice end of the episode, but it wouldn't be like traumatic or anything, because he's actually like gotten over that stuff, because he's like 2,000 years old. Of course, you can get over that in that time. And I think I'd end the episode there. So it'd be pretty simple, but pretty straightforward for like having to find Moloch and stuff, because of course they can just I can just like speed up to like one episode later and they're already fighting him. But I'll see what I do for the next episode, because I'm not like a professional screenwriter or something. I just make a lot of fun ideas for Celestials, for like characters and stuff, and then I kind of want to make a story out of it. So it's not always going to be the best, but I really enjoy this, and sorry for not drawing it out, but for some reason, I lately have just not been able to do like get to drawing digitally for some reason. But right now, my drawing tablet is also in my at my mom's house. So yeah. Okay, hope you enjoyed and see you next one. Bye.